Oh, good morning, everyone. Right now I'm just, let's see. Hey, everyone. I'm just making some deliveries today. Um, I will put the link if anybody wants to come up on the panel, say a few things. Let's see. Good morning, Stephanie. Stephanie's awesome. Let's see. Right now I'm waiting for an order. I mean, it's Thursday. They don't come in as crazy. So what's in the news today? That's right. It's what? 7 a.m. on the West Coast. Right now I'm heading to, I'm gonna head over, there's a plaza that has a Starbucks, and sometimes you get orders. I'll get a couple orders from that plaza. There's still a ton of Canadian geese here too, you guys. They're everywhere. I would have to say Amazon has more of a moneymaker platform. You also, with Amazon, they will pay you. So you sign up for these blocks on Amazon, like the day before. Sometimes you might get them the same day. And it's either 2.5, 3.5, or 4 hour blocks. Now, with these blocks, you get paid a certain amount. And you do make more. There's definitely more money at Amazon Flex than there is DoorDash because you don't have the slow time, like with DoorDash, sometimes I don't get orders in, or they're not worth delivering the orders because the tips are so low. So with that, Amazon, you get like a set price, and even if they end up canceling your block, you can still get paid for that block if you show up. I would say there's more money with Amazon. I mean, Amazon, it's just a set amount. Like you'll get paid, $80 for 3.5 hours, but you're working those 3.5 hours for that $80. And then with Amazon, you go to the warehouse, load up your car, and then they give you your route. For DoorDash, you're kind of like waiting for a delivery to come in. It's not consistent. Um, Even if you go out during, lunch hour, dinner hour, especially with the holidays coming up to you guys, I'm sure your Amazon plant will be hiring on more people for the holiday season through Amazon Flex. But I mean, my husband has an electric vehicle and he has a hybrid vehicle, so it's electric and gas, and he saves a lot of money um, with gas because the thing is you probably make on average, I would say, $25 an hour. But with that $20 to $25 an hour, you have to pay for your own gas. You have to pay for the wear and tear in your vehicle. So you see how like that hourly wage can go down pretty quickly. But I mean, if you're looking for like a part-time thing, um, just for a little extra money, I thought about it, Stephanie. Um, I thought about applying for a job at Amazon, but I just don't know. Around here, winter driving is horrible. I mean, I heard the wages are decent, but not really there, if you know what I mean. And like, while driving here, you know, spring, summer, fall, like once November hits, usually like middle of November to like the end of March, by April, November through April, I mean, November through March, driving here, I mean, it's one thing if you have to go to work, you have to drive, go to work, and then you're there for 8 hours, but it's another thing driving in some of the conditions here. It can be, yeah, talk about stress. I mean, I'm used to it, and if I had to do it for, just to get to work and back, I'll manage. Because usually all you do in the wintertime is you just slow down, so if it takes you normally like 20-30 minutes to get to work, expect it to take you an hour, that type of thing. But to actually have a job where I'm driving in it all day, and even, I mean, we do have a lot of like snow trucks, plow trucks. They're pretty well equipped here with all of that to handle most, but like they're not always out there and it's not always instant. And like I said, sometimes some years we just get the snow's crazy. I mean, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna check my. How's everyone doing this morning? I can have a seagull cam for you guys. Let's see. There you go. Don't like that's partying. I'm the mayor of New York. Is that Mayor Adams? Is that who we're talking about, Stephanie? He's been in the news quite a bit. Something's going on with him. I'm not sure. I haven't been up to date, Stephanie. What's going on? All right, I got it is raining out today. The only thing that I can comment on is the old governor of New York, Governor Cuomo. And all I know with that is a lot of people didn't like him. A lot of people would talk about, um, just I guess him and his family, really. Now, do I have an opinion on that? Not really. Do I know them personally? No. I mean, I think when you're in a position of like, when you're in that type of position and you're in the spotlight and everything, you're just naturally going to get people who don't like you. Um, that's kind of just what happens. I don't know. But yeah, Stephanie, what's going on with the mayor? Don't mind me, I'm just fixing my hair. Stephanie has some insides with the mayor of New York. I think I saw him on Google. I think is he in trouble? Like, did he get in trouble for something? Does anybody know? We're having morning seagull talks. Let's see. All right. Seagulls. He has federal charges. It always seems like some of those people, they always get into trouble. Like the more power, like sometimes power just gets to people. Having, power, and it gets to their heads. They get in trouble. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with that in particular. Um, really, I spoke with a guy one time who went to federal prison, and he told me that because it wasn't like his first time getting into trouble or anything. He told me that like federal prisons aren't as bad as state prisons. Now, maybe it was just the one he went to. I'm not sure. I mean, of course, with the prison system, I'm sure there's some prisons that are better than others. Don't like that partying. Don't like that. Yeah, I'm just. Iran has threatened to kill President Trump. Donald Trump is like, he is under a lot of heat. That's the new, that's the latest. Here, Stephanie, I'll put the link up if you want to. Well, I know that, um, I do know that, I mean, presidents are like, they usually have tons of security around them. It's usually one of those, I think, well, isn't Iran one of our enemy states? I think there's always been problems with Iran in the past. What does Iran want to kill President Trump for now? Let's see. Oh, Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Michelle. I
Oh,
wasn't going to come up because I just got up and I'm not a talker in the morning.
she needs her
But
coffee. It's coffee talk. It's okay.
no, I just wanted to tell you, no, Iran, yes, they're our enemies. They're the country that when Trump was in office, he sanctioned them and got rid of all their weapons and we didn't do any trade with them. And since the Biden Harris presidency. Now Iran is all stocked up again because of uh, the president now. So of course they don't want Trump in there because Trump will do the same thing. And they have been threatening to blow him to smithereens. It's horrible. They don't want Trump in there again, and now they're threatening to kill him. I mean, that poor man has had two attempts. Now a whole country is threatening to kill him. I mean, our government should go in there. I mean, you don't threaten a former president, and our government should be doing something about this, and they're not.
I know with past presidents, it was always like they always get threatened. Like when President I don't know if you remember this, but when President Bush, when he went to go visit I forgot what country it was, but he was doing like a press conference and somebody got away with throwing a shoe at his head, like literally like in the middle of it. Like he ducked, and I mean like it was all
Yeah,
good,
but
but
Michelle, this is different. When you're talking about our enemy countries threatening uh, someone, there's a big difference. Uh, what was I going to say? No, they don't want him in the presidency because they're
yeah.
afraid of Trump. See, they're not afraid of Harris. They'll be able to control her, but Trump, they won't be able to control him. And no, I think it's very serious, and people laughing about it. They've got a screw loose.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know
yeah.
who'd be laughing about that. That's not funny, but
Oh, a lot of the Dem- Harris
oh.
people. Yeah, but
Well, it's never funny when someone's getting, death or death threats, but the thing
no,
is like um presidents take a lot of heat for our country, because they're the forefront, whether it's whoever's they do. They have to take a lot of um there's a lot of countries that do not like America just in general. Like I mean, you could travel to and even countries that are supposed to be, our allies, there's people that'll tell you that there's just places that just don't like Americans. And being a president of a whole country, you're going to piss people off. There's things that you're going to do and it's going to piss you off and it's going to piss them off. You can't make everybody happy, and I'm sure that they have, with what's happened to him recently, I'm sure they've beefed up, security protocol, like more security services,
I hope
to
so
protect
because
him.
he is out there every single day campaigning.
Right.
Where's Harris? Where is she at? Trump is out there every single day going to different states.
You know who I've
Um,
been you know who I've been following during this whole campaigning thing, is I've been following what Biden's been doing, because Biden has still been doing stuff with all of this going on with Kamala and stuff. He's still like going overseas and having leaders with and having meetings with overseas leaders, because that's what I was kind of like, because everyone's talking about Trump and Kamala Harris and the whole like campaign
yeah,
and the horse and pony show. Is that what they call it? They're all, campaigning this and that. And I'm like, well, this would be a perfect time, while everyone's distracted with the election that's coming up. Well, I mean, you should care about the election that's coming up, but like, I'm just, when stuff like this is happening, right, to this extreme, that means something else that's more powerful is going on that we're just not aware of at the time. It's like it's one of those tactics. It's like, oh, focus on this. Oh, this is really horrible, but then there's something else. While everyone's focusing on this and on this particular subject, which is important. I'm not saying it's not. Um,
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
wondering what's going on right now as far as who's in
well,
president right now and what
well,
he's up
yeah.
to.
Well, no, he's out there, after 3.5 years, trying to do something before the the vote, so
Yeah.
uh yeah, and I mean, frickin' Biden was on The View. Harris was on Oprah. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. I did not watch. My sister watched it, but I did not watch. I don't watch The View. I don't like those women. I don't like Whoopi Goldberg. Um, I don't watch that show.
I
But
have
I
to
guess,
t- I have to tell you too, like I tried to watch The View a couple times and I really didn't get a lot from it.
uh,
Like, and I don't, and honestly, I'm all for, women's voices. I appreciate a woman's point of view just as much as a man's on certain things, but I never really, I think what they did with The View was they mixed two, like, there's too many, like, opposite personality types of, it just didn't seem like the flow was there, like
uh,
with that TV show. I think the concept that what they wanted to make that TV show, I liked it. It was a viewpoint of women, so they had women up there discussing their views on things, which I can appreciate. I was like, oh, this is going to be, and then I watched it a couple times, and I, there were a couple episodes that were okay, but I was like, I don't know what it was.
no, I don't want those women's point of view. I mean, who gives a shit what Whoopi Goldberg says? I mean, you know, she's so biased, and that Joy too. I mean, oh God, it was pretty good when that, I can't remember her name, when they first started. They had that uh, uh, football player's wife on there. I really liked her, and she was like the the mediator type person. And but they got rid of her, and then they brought in different people, and it's just a big joke now. It's all their personal feelings. And uh yeah, no, I don't
I
watch them. They should get rid of that show.
I mean, if people want to watch a bunch of women talk, come to my channel. You guys can listen to Stephanie and I talk and pay us millions of dollars, right, Stephanie? You and I are
uh
interesting,
no,
right?
no, not that interesting. No.
Stephanie and I, we have our. We're gonna call it, instead of the View Part Two with Stephanie and Michelle. Um,
Mhm.
I did watch, like I said, I watched it a couple times, but it seemed like there was a lot of bickering between the women. Do you know what I mean? Like they would bring up good topics, and I was excited for them to talk about them. But I think what happened was it was just there was too much clashing between the different personalities and um everything else. It was just kind of like I don't know. I mean, I watched it a couple times and they have some people on there. Um I'm not surprised that Kamala Harris and they were on the TV shows. They usually like to
Yeah.
have,
Well,
political.
that I only watched bits and parts of that Oprah, but that was a big mistake on her part. She looked so stupid and said the stupidest things with Oprah that was a big flop.
I always appreciated Oprah. You know, I
I don't anymore. I don't anymore. And uh, also with this P Diddy thing going on,
yeah,
I guess P Diddy's stopped eating in jail. He hasn't eaten for a week because he's worried someone's going to poison him. He's afraid they're going to pull an Epstein on him too, um, because Epstein supposedly killed himself in prison, right?
yeah,
Well, there was some big mysteries to that. Um, theories that he was killed because he was ready to spill the beans on all these people, and so they got rid of him. And P Diddy now he's got all these tapes and evidence of people, at his parties. And so he's afraid they're going to try and kill him probably. So he's not eating or anything in jail.
yeah. It's he he definitely he got himself involved in um a lot of not so good things. And now I think he's kind of just in a place that,
Well, wait till those tapes come out. He's got hundreds of tapes that they
right. Well,
confiscated from his house. I mean, what people are we going to see on those tapes, Michelle?
oh, I don't want to know, but
I know.
I just like I feel like when you put yourself out there and you act a certain way, that it's not always going to be all roses and everything else, like y he brought upon a lot of this himself,
Oh, of
and
course
now
he did.
he's,
All of it.
yeah, yeah,
Of
and like
course.
and
He's
like now
when he's on tape beating his girlfriend. I mean, right
that was
there.
horrible. I
That
don't care
guy's
what any
got
this
he's got
wasn't
a
like,
screw loose.
yeah, this wasn't like a slap. Like, not that any abuse is okay, but like when I saw that video, it wasn't like, oh, he slapped her in the arm or something. No, this was like he knocked her out and then he went back to kick
Yeah.
her and while she was on the ground and like really just go at her. Now that is a monster.
Oh,
That
I
is like
know.
that is like and that's the only one that we have evidence of. So if there's a
Right.
tape with him acting like that, how many more incidences that there
Oh
wasn't any
yeah.
footage that was going on daily, like
Well,
inhumane.
yeah, they're looking at all those tapes right now.
Mm-hmm. And
And yeah. So they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his house.
oh, I'm sure. Well, that was like all he was about, drugs, alcohol, partying it up, and he ended up hurting a lot of people in the process of it.
That's the deal. Hey, I don't care. You want to have sex party with consenting adults, go for it. Uh, but see, he was involved with underage people, drugging people. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So the sex party's big deal. You know, you want a sex party, have one. But see, he was involved in a lot of other, perverted things.
Well, and
And
just an
yeah,
abuse, and
yeah,
just
and involving minors, and then people, being held there where they couldn't leave. He wouldn't let them leave, and you know, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Um, and he's going to get everything he deserves.
well,
Uh,
think about it like this, Stephanie. Like you remember um he was really good friends with Biggie Smalls when he was alive. Then I always found it really there was just something about P Diddy that I never liked from even way back then. Like
oh,
he
me either.
he was
No.
like when Biggie died, he was making a song, making these everything else about, oh, he was my best. Well, I mean, come to find out, they did a bunch of different things on him, and like it was just all a mess. Like people turning on each other. Like there really wasn't a lot of like good solid friendships involved. But that's kind of like you want to live a lifestyle of drugs, sex, videotape, that type of thing. Like, and you think that you're going to live this good life, I mean, you have something else coming for you because it's not the the right way to live. So even if you do come into a ton of money from it, right? Like Puff Daddy did, it it's going to come with a lot of consequences, and I think now he's just paying the consequences of his actions all those years.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
see.
I mean, you can't control people. I mean, you can't do that to people.
Right.
Um,
And he was making money. He was making money off of doing these things to people that were not okay. That where he was out of control. He was like a raging lunatic. I mean, when I saw the video of when with him and Cassie, and like even if you get angry, like at somebody or whatever, like it was like he wanted to kill her,
yeah.
and that's a woman that he was with, that supposedly they were in love. So, I mean, that's
Right.
how deranged, his thinking, even if she did do something messed up to him, that kind of reaction, that's not what a man, a real man would do, is just go and completely beat her up,
Right.
you know. And that's just the only one that we got on tape. And I'm sure, I mean, do you think that that's the only time he's ever done something like that?
Right.
No.
No. Yeah, and then I saw on Newsbreak that Ashton Kutcher was really, good friends with P Diddy, and his wife has moved out of their house to distance herself away from him for some reason. Why would she do that? Is he on the tapes too? Uh, so yeah. Oh yeah.
Sometimes they just care about how much money you could make, like Puff Daddy, apparently in the entertainment business, made a lot of money for the entertainment business with his records and trying to promote people and everything else. That I'm guessing uh, people took a blind eye to what he was doing, because it was like, oh, well, he's making a ton of money and he has a lot of money. And when people have a lot of money, like some people just think that, like, oh, well, I'm not gonna, you know, do or say anything to him, he's got all this money. But in reality, it's like,
Well, yeah,
I,
I'm sure he, paid people off, of course.
oh, I'm sure there
Of
were,
course.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there was settlements involved with certain people to be
Oh,
like,
of
all right, you
course.
gotta,
Yeah.
or or agreements like non-disclosure agreements where people couldn't, were silenced from talking about stuff that they
Right. Yeah.
seen and this and that. And I'm sure he has tons of lawyers and everything else. That's just kind of like,
Oh, yeah, but when everything is, evidence on tape, not much to defend there.
right. Like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, when I saw that tape, like, I was horrified, because, like, I've seen tapes, I've watched shows and they've played back tapes of, like, people being violent against other people. And it never really disturbed me as much as when I saw P. Diddy charging at her and just going full aggression at her, just like full, like, I'm going to kill you type of violence towards a woman, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. And it might have been, she might have threatened him, she might have said, like, I can't take this anymore. I can't live this life of, um, catches up to somebody living that life all the time, and with him drinking all the time too. I mean, talk about a horrible concoction. I'm sure everybody who's gone to bars before, and when people start drinking too much at the end of the night, like, stuff starts happening, right? So, like, somebody gets cocky, people start threatening. I mean, I'm sure Stephanie, you've witnessed a bar fight before, where someone's got out of hand. Usually it's towards, like, later in the night, but that's usually, they always say
Well,
nothing
yeah,
good
I
happens.
mean, it's drugs and alcohol. Yeah, of course. There's going to be
Yeah.
all kinds of shit going on. They think that he's going through some kind of drug withdrawal in there too.
Well, if he
So
was a
we don't even know what he was on or taking.
I mean, if he was on, I know I saw him a bunch of times drinking, so I'm pretty sure he was a pretty heavy drinker, and just alcohol alone withdrawals can be just as severe as um, other drugs. Getting off of those,
Right.
so I mean, and even his buddy his buddy Mace that he was friends with for a while, he was talking about his piece with Diddy and how what all everything that he had to go through to get away from him, because I think he just realized earlier on what type of person that he was, and just didn't want to be a part of all of that. Just really
Right.
just did not want to live that type of lifestyle. But he ended up getting away from it. He ended up getting away from it, and he's like, I don't even care about the money anymore. He's like, I don't even care if I have tons of money and this and that, because it was just that soul sucking of a life to live that he didn't even care. You know, he was like, I don't care if I'm poor. He's like, I just wanted to get away from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Don't like that. Yeah, we did hear. I did hear about it. Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace. Yeah, but that's how bad it was. We're like, Mace had tons of money and fame, and anything you could probably think of. And even he turned his life around early on, being about, he was just like, I'm not, he went to his pastor, he turned to Christ, like, he went that route, got away from it. And he's like, it's not worth it. And it's some people, it's not. But
Well,
that's that's the entertainment industry is like that. You hear a lot about, actors, actresses, musicians who have to turn to like a ton of drugs, drugs, alcohol, just to cope with, um, just to cope, just to, and like I told somebody before, like I've met rich people who are miserable. You would think you have all this money, you have yachts, you have, vacation homes. You'd think you'd be pretty content, right, Stephanie? Like, I'm not feeling so well. I think I'm gonna go to my beach house and, but I mean, that's just not how it works out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a few, it's not the majority. Uh, I mean, it's like regular people too are not happy. So,
Yeah, well,
but
I mean, like, I
people,
think people always envision, people think that if they have money, their life's going to be better. Like, they're going to be happier, like, less stressed. When in all reality, a lot of those rich people are just as stressed and still not happy. So, I mean, to find, or content, I shouldn't even say happy because, I mean, just to be content, with what you have, that's a treasure in itself. If you can be content with how your life is and be content with what you have, then you're winning. It's not about having millions of dollars. It's not about having, you know, yachts and everything else, because at the end of it, you're gonna be like,
well, no, if I had more money, I would be a lot happier. No, that's bullshit to me. No, money would make me a lot happier. I admit it. So, but like I said, if you're not a happy person, poor or rich,
right,
you're not gonna be happy. So, but
right,
P Diddy, all his money is not gonna save him.
right,
Uh,
right. Oh,
he thought
it's
he
not.
was, yeah, he thought he was a freaking god or something. That he could control people and do whatever he wanted because he's a billionaire. Well, nobody. You can't do anything you want to people.
The thing is I think that they're making an example out of him. Like that's why, he's at the worst prison, this and that, because there's people out there who are like, especially younger people, who might get influenced by that type of behavior and might want to go that route in life. And I think
Well,
they're
they
just
don't
trying to
have
be
to.
like,
Yeah, they don't have to make an example of him, Michelle. He's done that for himself.
right, but I mean, I'm
Yeah,
saying you're right. No, you're right. But
yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to show the younger, maybe somebody who's like in their 20s, who sees all of this, like, oh yeah, P Diddy has this money, he lives, he's drinking all the time, doing this, doing that, and he's making it. He has tons of money from it, and I think they're just kind of like, yeah, well, this is where you might end up if you decide you want to go about
Yeah,
life
well,
in
yeah, if
this
you do the
type of,
things he did, yeah, of course that's where you're going to end up.
yeah. So that's what
Yeah,
I was just thinking. I was just like,
yeah,
because I know a lot of like young people who might be lost in life and not sure what to do, and they're kind of struggling and everything else, and um they might see this lifestyle that some of these people are living, and it's not always as it seems. It's not always this life that you think it is in front of the cameras that it is behind the cameras, because like when you hear about it all the time, like with celebrities and everything, they're always taking pictures of them in this light, like, oh, look at how, cute this person is. Look at, um they're, out shopping or they're on a yacht and everything else. But I mean, I don't know. I think they're just trying to portray a realistic point of view with all of that.
Yeah,
But I
well,
mean,
the law is the law. I mean, they're showing people you do this shit, you're going to prison.
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. That's exactly what they're doing. They're
So,
like, there's
mm,
exactly.
yeah. So, no, he really screwed himself big time, thinking he can just do whatever he wants, control, drug people, use minors. No, he's a bad person.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
Yeah,
well, like he's paying he's paying the piper now as far
yeah.
as
Yeah, and it's
being in.
gonna be. I feel bad for his family. I mean, how embarrassing when all this comes out. You know,
Well, well, his
to
well
have to
his
see what your father has done. I mean, it's
well his,
terrible.
well his son is actually in trouble too for sex trafficking.
Oh yeah,
His son's in trouble because he was right along, I guess, with him, kind of like,
yeah.
yeah, I want to be
I
like him.
know. That's awful.
Yeah. Mm.
Influencing your kids like that. You know, I blame the parents. You know,
Oh
he.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, they were. Yeah, influenced. He was influenced by his dad, and his dad, let him do it too. It's terrible.
Yep. I don't think that, I mean,
But it's good to show, people that just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you can do anything.
you're invincible, right? Exactly, Stephanie.
Exactly, and that's what he thought. And
Well,
well,
I mean,
that's what
there's
you get.
there's a lot of celebrities that have gotten in trouble for, like DWIs and stuff like that. So I mean,
Yeah, but
that
nothing like
to
this.
this extreme, right?
Exactly. No.
This was an extreme takedown. This wasn't like, oh, you made a mistake or whatever. This was like a legit.
Oh yeah. No, I mean they must have been investigating for a long
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh
Because,
years. Oh yeah.
the
Oh yeah. This
feds don't
wasn't
yeah, the feds got everything. They don't just go in for nothing, you know what I mean? So,
right.
no, he's screwed. And, he can have the best lawyers ever, but to prove he had no wrongdoing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, not
So,
when you have like videotapes of like your action like that when it was
right.
like, what are you but apparently he settled with Cassie outside of the courts. He gave her a bunch of money and settled with her. So that was all the whole Cassie thing. Like
Right,
he like
yeah,
paid her
yeah,
off for
yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah, she took his money for that. But I mean, as soon as, these tapes and they get a hold of these people that are on the tapes, I mean, a lot of shit'll come out and if they see any minors on those tapes, oh, he's going to be put away for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's what they're reviewing now because I
Yeah,
think they said like, well, they weren't like IDing these girls, and when
I know.
you're in that situation, you should be like, screening these women that you're just like putting on his yachts and everything else. I mean, there should be some kind of. I mean, it's not like he doesn't have the money and stuff to like handle stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
But
I know
all,
it.
but
Drugging
also,
people. Oh my
I
God.
I'm not sure what the consent. I'm not sure what the age of consent is because it's different in every state. Um,
Yeah. Some states it's 16. I know that.
yeah, yeah. Some states it's 16, some it's 17, some it's 18.
Right.
They're all different. Yeah. I don't think there's anything less than 16 years old. Well, I don't think there's any
All
state
they
that.
need, all they need is one minor to come forward and say, "Yes, I was drugged, and he did this." That's it. That's all they need. Yeah.
Well, you had Aaliyah and R. Kelly. That thing happened where he married her and she was underage, and then they got their marriage annulled because they found out that she was underage to get married.
Right.
Her and
Well.
she was part of the whole P Diddy group too.
Right.
But R. Kelly ended up getting slammed with a bunch of things, with a bunch of charges
Oh
later
yeah,
on.
he was horrible too. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like you get what you put out there in this world. If you put out this hate type of, I think what it is he was probably so cocky and like blunt about everything that people were scared of him because he was so sure of himself for such a long time that people ended up getting afraid to say anything. I mean, you figure what was going on and with how many people were witnesses to it all and didn't do anything, or if they did do something, it wasn't to an extent where it really affected him that much at all.
Well, yeah, and they use their money. Here's some money. Don't say anything. I mean,
R-
so
right.
yeah.
Like, oh, well, if you give me some money, like, I'm not going to say, but, what sucks with that is the people that he paid off probably feel like real assholes. Once everything comes to light of everything exactly what he did, to other people and this and that by them not saying anything or doing anything, like you're just basically, I can just pay you off. That's how he got away with it for so long because he's like, I'll just pay. People are so greedy and money hungry that you seeing somebody doing something extremely horrible and just for oh well, I can buy myself a new car now or I can do this now, and then you really think about it, that they're just as bad as he is. you know here's some
Right.
money. I don't want you to like try to, don't be a hero or anything, like don't like do what's morally right. Here's some money. It'll be okay. You're struggling, like, I'll just give you. But that's the thing. But that's how these people come into so much power, is because there's so many people who are just so willing to just sell their soul for some money. And the money doesn't
Right.
last forever. And like, I hope you feel really good about yourself. I mean, I hope you're sleeping very well at night and, whatever else. But that's the thing. Like, people will compromise. If somebody's in a bad enough situation, i- some people are easily persuaded with money. And it's sad. And like, that's, and I'm not saying I don't understand. I've been in situations in life where I was really poor. I was stressed. I was definitely at that point where if somebody was like, you know, here's, you know, you know, some money, just keep your mouth shut and just live your life and take the money, like, I mean, yeah, it's very appealing. It could be very, do there's, wait a minute, what's, don't like that saying. There's a old rap song called Diddy by Paperboy. Do the Diddy. Oh, you know what? It's gonna be, dude, Diddy got diddied, okay? Diddy got diddied, alright? He wanted to go out there. be a bad boy, like sign up for Bad Boy Records, he was very flagrant on who he was as a person, and now he's kind of like, oh shit. And like when they had footage of him right before they started raiding his house and everything, he was not looking so happy and so like cocky and everything else about everything he did. And he realized it before it happened, because when you get involved with the feds, they warn you before everything starts happening. So you're already like you get a warning notice. They're like, we're coming at basically like you're gonna get it type of deal. And even then, he probably thought that it wasn't going to be to the extent that it actually ended up happening. But it's just one of those things. It's like um, people start to, you get away with certain things, and then you're like, oh, nothing happened to me, nothing happened, nothing happened. And, it happened. Diddy got diddied. Um, yeah. So, Stephanie, what's on the menu for breakfast today in Seattle?
Oh, I don't usually eat breakfast, Michelle.
Oh, no, just coffee?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For lunch, I'll have leftover tacos I made last night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
It wasn't Taco Tuesday, Stephanie.
yeah,
Taco Tuesday.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I like tacos are good. You know, tacos are decent, I guess. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't. I didn't.
they never taste like out. They never taste at home like they do when you go out for them, though. I don't know what it is, but
I well, when you go out, we have a couple of like authentic Mexican restaurants here,
uh huh.
and I remember when I first went to one, and I just ordered whatever. I'm like, I'll try whatever, like I don't care. I'll try, your chicken and your rice and beans and like all sorts of stuff. And there's a difference because I've known a lot of there's a big Puerto Rican population here, and every time I would eat their food, it was completely different. It was the same kind of types of food, but it tasted completely different than when I started going to the Mexican restaurants here. It
Right.
just tasted different. Like I don't know if they use different spices, and the Puerto Ricans cook things differently. Even their rice and beans taste completely different. And it's rice and beans. I mean, I don't know what else they didn't put in it, but it makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they probably use different spices and stuff. I never liked refried beans. I always order my Mexican food without the beans.
Well, I like the rice and beans that are like rice and beans. Like, and I don't know what more I can tell you about that, but not the refried, not the fried beans. Like, not like the baked beans kind of refried beans, mushy stuff. But I always
Oh, you mean
appreciate.
like black beans?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like the rice and beans, like in a pot together, like, it
Right.
tastes good, and they have like the little olives and everything else, and I always enjoyed that. I've had people make that for me, and then there's like this crust stuff from it, like the stuff that gets like um caked on, and that's the best stuff ever. And there's actually a name for that as well. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, DoorDash today has been really slow today.
Oh, is it? So let's see. What time is it there?
11:22.
Oh, okay. Well, you're getting almost into your lunchtime now, so you should get some orders.
I'm I'm hoping. My goal today is to make 100. Well, I mean, see if it happens. If it does, they
Now,
have been.
now,
Yeah.
Michelle, I always wondered. I know you get to keep the tip you get. Now, do you get any money from the order itself?
This is how it pays out, Stephanie. Okay, you get a standard, depending on the store,
Uh
you get
huh.
a standard pay of either $2.50 or $3 per
Okay.
delivery. That's the standard. And then whatever tips people, that's how I can tell you. That's why when I'm like, you hear me like, they're not tipping. Well, it's still saying it's like $2.50 or $3, but I can, that's how I can tell that there's no tip involved. And that's the ones I
I
usually.
see. So you do get a few dollars from the restaurant.
Yes, because
Okay.
you know how when you order it, it'll say delivery and service fee.
Yeah.
Right. So that I get part of that. I get part of the delivery and service fee. It actually goes to me.
I see. And then the tip. Yeah. See, I always try to just give $5.
That's
Uh,
actually really good. Like
it is
that's a decent,
because
yeah.
when you order, it will add a suggestive tip into there for you. So, uh, let's say my order's $20, and then I go down the app and it says tip, and then they have already marked $2 for a tip.
Oh,
But
all right.
you can go in and change it to whatever amount that you want to give the driver.
Well, you actually like you're smart and you know how much gas is too, because that's what I
Yeah,
always would tell people. Like with the
yeah,
price of gas, when I figure out my pay rate and how much I really made, I mean it's
right,
still not that much. Like I know waitresses and waiters who make a lot more money than I do, and I'm actually using my car and putting some
right,
of the money that I'm making towards my
right.
gas.
Right.
So
Well, see, I let's see, I use DoorDash maybe 3 times a month.
all right.
Uh, yeah, and so, or yeah, maybe no, not once a week. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And so I joined the DoorDash
Pass.
monthly thing,
Yeah,
uh, the
that's a good
DoorDash
deal.
pack,
Yeah.
and because they don't add on those service fees to you.
Right. Right.
And so I joined it. It's only 10 a month, but I've already saved money even though I only use DoorDash like 3 times a month. It's worth it to pay the $10 a month.
It
Um,
is. As long as
yeah,
you use it like at least once or twice a month, like it's
yeah,
already paid for. It's already,
right,
you already put it to use.
right.
There's a there's
Um,
a lot. I used to tell people about that all the time. I'm like, if you use these services,
yeah.
look at the because it'll end up saving you money because a lot of people they're like, "Oh, the service fees, this and that." And I
Oh,
know
that adds up to your order. Let me tell you, it sure does. And then the tax, the service fees, and the tip. Yeah, it adds up. So, it makes your $20 order, go to like $32, when they add
right,
all the fees on there.
right.
So, but since I joined that, then I can, give the driver a good tip. Like when I ordered that Chinese food, it's 5 miles from my house. Well, that's quite far. I think 5 miles is, quite a long ways. Um,
Right.
yeah, so I always give, $5. The ones that make out are the short trips, you know, giving them $5. They probably go, oh, wow, I'm going to take this order. It's only a mile away.
Right. Oh, well, that's what I always look at. Like, I mean, if they tip enough, right? So if like let's say I have to go, like I've gotten offers to drive 12, 15 miles away. And I've taken
Uh-huh.
some of them because literally I'm making like 20 bucks, you know, 20,
Mhm.
$25. So I will drive, you
Right,
know, 10, 15 miles if need be, if the tip is right. You know, it's not a
right,
big deal. But the thing is I think a lot of people, they just try to get away with like the minimum. They're just kind of like, I'm paying these service fees already. And what
yeah.
they don't know, and I've seen the service fees on DoorDash, it could be anywhere from what, like $2 to $5, right? Added to your bill for the service and
Oh,
delivery
yeah,
fee.
yeah,
And the driver doesn't see all of that money. Like I said, there's a standard 250 that DoorDash pays the driver. That's all we
right,
get from that. The rest is whatever tip that you decide to put into um whatever tip that you decide is fitting
right,
for the driver. But I know some people, they'll take whatever orders, like it, even if there's no tip involved, they'll just take it. And I'm like, that's just wrong. And that's just like telling people like it's okay to like, you know, um,
right.
that it's okay to do something like that when it's, you know,
Well,
like,
it's still
come on.
cheaper. Like, if you go to a sit-down restaurant, you got to tip what is it now? They want 18 to 20% tip for the
Yeah.
waitress. I mean, DoorDash is still cheaper, even with the fee and tip, than sitting down in a restaurant.
Oh yeah. And you figure at a restaurant, they're just walking your order to, you know, they're not using their actual vehicle, they're not driving, it's not like a, you know, 10-15 minute drive, you know. So I mean, like,
Right,
just think about it like that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get something to delivered at your house. I mean, I've done grocery deliveries to people.
right. Yep.
I don't care.
I've ordered
But
groceries too.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
care because those people really tip. Those are the orders where I get like 20, 30 bucks for a delivery because
right.
they, you know, I'm like, yeah, sure, this one lady, Stephanie, Stephanie, you'll laugh. This one lady I had, um she had the bags like right outside her garage, and she was
Uh,
like directing me on like where she wanted everything. I didn't care. I was just like, yep, whatever, because I just
uh,
made, you know, $25, and it only took me,
mhm,
it literally only took me like a half an hour total to pick up
right,
her order and drive it to her. I'm like, yeah, I'll put them in your bags for you so you can bring them in the house in the bags. And I'm like, because we don't have, you know how there's no plastic bags anymore, you know. So I was like,
right.
yeah, I'll put
Yeah,
them in the bags for you. I don't care. Like the more you tip, the more people are willing to just be like, yeah, you want me to put it in this location, that location, these things over here, you know. But that's the thing. Like I think,
oh, your voice went out, Michelle. But no, I know. Uh, DoorDash to order groceries is a lot better than Instacart. I did the Instacart once, and with the fees and the tip, it was just outrageously priced. So I won't do Instacart again. And then the problem with Instacart is when you order something and they're out of it, they give you a replacement, and I don't like that. So DoorDash is a lot better to order your groceries that way. You might need to charge your phone, Michelle. I don't know. But I just wanted to come up and say hi. Hello?